Narration script. Episode 876, The Night Rats Held Parliament, year 1998. Narrated by Sayip Tiger Gianatsiku, former believer in diplomacy, now specialist in unofficial solutions. Narrator Tiger's voice, calm, slightly amused, but slowly sharpening. If you live long enough, you realize two things. The first, kindness is holy. The second, kindness without boundaries is fertilizer for cockroaches. This is the story of how in 1998 I learned that sometimes you don't need peace talks. You need matches and kerosene. And of course, a dance party. The arrival, guests without a departure date. It began innocently. Two rats, small, weary travelers from the distant northern wastelands, appeared near my bungalow one misty evening. They carried the look of men who had lost everything to wars they didn't start. Naturally, being a civilized tiger and remembering the great teachings of hospitality, I allowed them to stay. I even told Kutapan, my faithful bard and assistant, give them some leftover jackfruit chips. Even the smallest guest deserves dignity. Kutapan grumbled, but obeyed. At the time, I thought, what harm can two grateful rats do? History, meanwhile, quietly sharpened its knives. The infestation begins. Slow conquests always look polite. First it was crumbs missing from the pantry, then half-eaten mangoes, then a broken coconut shell here, a chewed sandal there. Each small indignity was too minor to raise a storm over, too polite to fight over. By the fourth week, the rats no longer scurried when I entered the kitchen. They strolled. One of them even nodded at me like a lazy politician pretending to acknowledge a struggling voter. Still, I held on to hope. They'll respect the kindness shown to them. Fools have died with more optimistic thoughts. Unionization, when rats find constitution. Month 2. The rats formed a union, United Brotherhood of Rodentian Settlers, Kerala chapter. They held peaceful rallies in my courtyard, waving tiny flags made of banana leaves. They distributed pamphlets, mostly bite marks on newspaper scraps, demanding equal access to the kitchen and storeroom. Their first move, declaring the kitchen a neutral zone of shared culinary rights. Their second move, banning cats from entering the property perimeter. Too triggering for marginalized rodents, a rat advocate explained solemnly during a union meeting. My cat, Parukuti, once the fierce guardian of grain stores, was forced into early retirement. She now lived on the neighbor's roof, writing angry memoirs in her mind. The takeover, a siege without guns. By month 3, little Parakuti the kitchen maid was terrorized out of her job when the rat union staged a kitchen sit-in protest. They danced on rice sacks, they peed ceremoniously on pickle jars, they gnawed motivational slogans onto the wooden shelves, grain to the rodents, death to oppression. Every corner of my bungalow stank not just of rat urine, but of defiance. Kutapan, trembling with anger, muttered one evening, Cheta, they're not settlers anymore. They're colonizers with better PR. 4th month, the meeting that broke the illusion. 4th month, second official union negotiation. Earlier rounds, they had begged to be heard. Now they made us wait. Me, Sayip Tiger, once ally of kings, friend of gods, eater of wild buffalo, made to wait by rats wearing banana leaf neckties. The rat leader, known only as Comrade Cheektooth, arrived late with a self-important limp and immediately demanded fresh coconut milk as a negotiation beverage. Something inside me, something old, tribal, ancient, snapped softly. I realized, this will not end in dialogue. This will end in fire. The dance party of the damned. I called tribal Mupan Marayan, a man whose ancestors had solved pest problems long before chemical companies printed labels. We met under the banyan tree, away from rat spies. The plan was simple. Announce a free cultural night open to all marginalized species. Host it at the old Panchayat pool, now dry but still large. Special rat music would be played, Kutapan banged spoons on steel plates for hours. Free food signs posted around. Unlimited tapioca leftovers, coconut shavings, cashew bits. And most important, fill the pond with a thin layer of kerosene, hidden beneath floating petals and banana leaves. Marayan grinned. Sometimes you don't catch a rat by chasing. You catch him by letting him think he caught you. The Great Invitation. Rats love posters. We flooded the area with posters. Freedom dance, music night, snacks galore. Bring your family, bring your cousins, bring your entire bloodline. Rats, it turns out, have no resistance to loud fonts and bad event management. By dusk, the entire Rodentian population, union leaders, junior activists, even unborn heirs, descended on the Panchayat pool. Some wore tiny sunglasses. One rat came wrapped in a shawl shouting slogans, "Land for rats, bread for rats, tapioca for rats." By nightfall, the party was in full swing. Rat DJs scratched papaya skins into music. Rat couples slow danced in flickering lantern light. Cheektooth, the rat leader, gave a drunken speech about liberation theology. Kaboom, a dance with no tomorrow. At the peak of the rat rave, I gave the signal. Kaboom. Marion lit a discreet wick. A slow, sleepy flame skated across the kerosene lake with a grace no ballet company will ever match. Within seconds, a sudden whoosh, a flash of light, a collective squeak of existential horror. The flames danced far more beautifully than the rats had. Those who didn't perish outright fled in disoriented terror toward the wilderness beyond the perimeter. The Restoration, Sweet Cherry Rising. Within hours, the tribal council covered the burnt pool with mounds of fertile soil. We planted a sweet cherry tree in the center, a soft green monument to misplaced kindness and restored order. No trace of the Union remained, except for a singed banana leaf floating bravely alone. The last rat. Defeat without words. Back at the bungalow, Cheektooth the rat leader had been napping during the Great Extermination. He woke to a terrifying silence. No drums, no chants, no banners. He stumbled through empty corridors, small paws slapping dry floorboards. At the entrance he found me and Kutupan standing quietly, arms folded. No words were spoken. Cheektooth stared at us, the truth sinking in like cold river water. Slowly, painfully, he gathered his few belongings. A half-chewed manifesto, a tiny Union badge made of coconut shell. With what dignity he could muster, he limped out into the dawn. Epilogue, lessons that smell of smoke. I learned that night. Some beings do not respond to kindness. Some infestations dress up as victims first. Some oppressors start by accusing you of oppression. Some negotiations are simply surrender disguised as diplomacy. And sometimes, when the slogans get too loud and the grain bins get too empty, fire is not cruelty, it is mercy. For the rats, for the land, for the future. Episode 8-76. Narrated by Sape Tiger Jin 2, ex-diplomat of foolish dreams, current practitioner of necessary fires, lover of sweet cherry trees. End of episode. Word